Hey everyone, welcome back to the D Show, the space where we dive deep and make difficult conversations easy. I'm your host, Dr. D, and today we are peeling back the layers and going beyond the brand. Because let's be honest, a perfectly curated Instagram feed is just the surface. Behind every brand, there's a story, a mission, a whole lot of grit. Whether you're an entrepreneur, a creative person, or just someone who wants to build something meaningful, we are talking about what it really takes to create a brand that's not just seen, but felt, remembered, and trusted. So, how do you go from being just a name to being a movement? What's the secret sauce behind the brands that truly resonate? And most importantly, how can you build something with impact beyond the aesthetics? I'm excited to share my insights and experiences. So sit tight with your cup of coffee as we go beyond the brand today. Hi, Sonali. Welcome to the D Show.
Hello, Dr. D. Good morning. How are you?
Absolutely fine. It's such a pleasure to meet a youngster like you, and I'm very, very excited that we are recording this today.
Same here, Dr. D. So let's roll.
Yes, hit me.
So, the first question I have for you is many
Mhm.
people see branding as just a tagline or a logo. So, what do you think about that?
You're right. Many people see it just as a logo or a tagline, but I think, in my opinion, branding is so much more than just a logo or a tagline. It's the story you tell and the experience you create. A brand is built through consistency, credibility, and connection. It's how people feel when they interact with you or your business, whether you're messaging, you're conducting your leadership talks, or a customer experience. For professionals, personal branding is about owning your own narrative. How do you show up? How do you create an impact? How do you influence opinions or how do you communicate? For businesses, I think it's about building trust and delivering on promises. A strong brand, my dear, isn't just recognized, it's remembered and respected. Very often I grew up in an environment where my dad always taught me that you should always command respect and not demand it. So it's not really about what you say about yourself. I think it's what others believe in you. And I think that's what creates a great recall value about a brand.
True, true, very true. So, you are trying to say that when a person looks at branding, it's not only building business, but also a community as well.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Because the connections are happening at emotional level when you get influenced by the brand. And we've seen so many ads which have left, a mark on our thought process for the last decade or two, something that connected with us emotionally. So I think if we keep that in mind, we will always make an impact.
Very true. So, talk today, how is branding for Gen Z different from other generations?
You had to put this question in, isn't it, Sonali?
I had to.
Well, branding for Gen Z is fundamentally different because they demand authenticity. And that's how I see you guys. You guys want authenticity, purpose, and engagement. Unlike previous generations that valued polished corporate messaging, Gen Z connects with brands that are real, transparent, and socially conscious. They don't just buy products, they buy into values, whether it's sustainability, inclusivity, or ethical business practices. They expect a two-way conversations, not one-way marketing. And they gravitate towards brands that speak their language. To embrace individuality and show up consistently across digital platforms is what really gravitates, Gen Z towards your brand. So, to win Gen Z's trust, I think branding has to be super genuine, very interactive, and driven by action. Because for them, a brand isn't just a logo, it's, like you said, a community they choose to be a part of. They want it to be relatable, they want it to be very, very in sync with their thought process. And I think if we keep these things in mind, I'm pretty sure organizations, businesses, FMCG products, or even leaders and Bollywood celebrities will be able to make a far more influence on the current generations than the concepts that they followed previously.
Certainly, certainly. And I'm sure that my colleagues or my friends would agree with what you said. We do believe in values, and yes, community also matters. So, Dr. D, what strategies have worked best for you in building brand trust and credibility?
Well, if I talk about how I've built my brand, trust and credibility, of course, comes down to three pillars. And I cannot state or overemphasize the word authenticity, consistency, and value. Well, I will be talking about authenticity a lot today since we are talking about beyond the brand. So let's deep dive into the first pillar of building a brand, trust, and that would be authenticity, where people connect with real stories, not just polished marketing. I've always been transparent about my journey, my challenges, my wins, and I'm hoping that this season podcast will resonate with many, especially Gen Z, so that they can find a lot of learnings and key takeaways from my losses and my wins, which has helped me build genuine net worth, and relationships. Second, I feel I have used a lot of consistency in building my brand. So whether it's in messaging, actions, or experience, I ensure that my brand, whether my company or myself, we deliver on promise every single time. Trust is built over time through reliability. And I think you have to show up. And I always use this in my conversations with clients or with vendor partners that listen, my word is my contract. So while I might take a long time to say yes, but once I've said yes, even if I'm running high fever, as long as I'm not on deathbed, I will deliver on your promise. And so far, Sonali, I feel that I have delivered, over delivered, and under promised. So that's something that is my philosophy, even in my organizations. And third value, I feel, is credibility. Because credibility isn't acclaimed, it is earned by focusing on delivering real value, whether through insights, services, your thought leadership. I have personally created a brand that people respect and turn to for advice, for consultancy, for mentorship, for coaching. In the end, trust is the true foundation of every strong brand. And it's built by showing up, staying true to your values, and providing your impact through action.
So basically, Dr. D, transparency along with accountability is very necessary to build trust and credibility for a brand.
Indeed, indeed, absolutely. And I think these three values, if we follow it, especially in the new normal today, any person or any company, large or small, will be able to create a dent in the minds of across generational diversity.
Right. And how can leaders use their personal brands to inspire change beyond business?
I'm very passionate about building personal brands. In fact, I always tell my peers and leaders that please invest your time, energy into building your brand because you have a story to tell. You have been through many experiences, and it's time that you put out there. If you don't have time, you have to outsource it to consultants like us who are capable of telling your story. But a leader's personal brand, in my opinion, isn't just about business success or your success. It's a platform to influence, inspire, and drive change. You have to be that change agent using your voice. So, for the leaders out there who believe that they want to build their personal brands, I'll give them a 3 point advice. First, own your story. Share your journey, challenges, lessons to empower others. Authentic storytelling creates connections and encourages others to break their own barriers. And you should give this opportunity to other people. Second, use your voice for impact. Champion causes that align with your values, whether it's gender equality, sustainability, or education. People follow leaders who stand for something bigger than themselves. And third is lead by example. True influence comes from action and implementation, not just words. And I always try to minimize this gap by mentoring, advocating for inclusivity, fostering change in your industry. I think you can turn your personal brand into a movement and create a digital legacy as well. So, when leaders use their platforms to drive purpose beyond profit, they don't just build their successful businesses, they create a legacy of impact.
So here, Dr. Day, I believe that, along with completely agreeing with what you said, believing in your own story reflects a lot on your personal brand and the brand that you build post that, isn't it?
Absolutely. I'm glad that you're summarizing my answers, Sonali, because I think it's very important. And I always believe that a good leader is somebody who can simplify the complex. So I'm happy that when you're, summarizing it with two answers or two-line answers, it's just reinforcing my faith that I'm making sense.
I'm glad. I'm glad, Dr. D. So, looking back on your career, what is that one challenge you face that you're more proud of overcoming or most proud of overcoming?
One of the biggest challenges that I've faced throughout my career, and I still face it, but is breaking through stereotypes. Our society has such strong stereotypes for women in business, for women in leadership, and especially women who are navigating the corporate world after beginning my career as a fashion model. And we've discussed that in some of the previous episodes. I had to work twice as hard to be taken seriously, ensuring that my contributions were not dismissed based on outdated perceptions of what a leader should look like or where should they come from. Beyond proving my own capabilities, I have also faced the broader issue of gender bias in leadership. As a woman in an executive role, I sometimes found that my ideas were easily overlooked or questioned more than those of my male counterparts. I remember a time when I had a business partner who was a male, of course. And every time we would go and pitch to our clients, even if I am pitching and I'm using my thought process and my confidence, they would make eye contact with my male counterpart and answer to me. And that for me was very disrespectful. And one of them, in fact, a CHRO of a known company, I wouldn't take name right now. When I asked him that why is this done? So he said, well, your words get lost in your beauty. And I laughed it out at that time, but I said, this is such a huge beauty bias that men feel that if they want to take me seriously, they would rather hear me and not see me. So, in boardroom discussions today, I have to assert myself confidently and ensure my voice is heard, demonstrating that my insights are not just valuable but essential to driving business. Despite these challenges, I use them as fuel for my growth. Now I'm at a position where I enjoy breaking these stereotypes. It has been a tough journey for 25 years, but today I shatter these stereotypes and I make way for other women who are also trying to make their career like I've made mine. I sought membership back in the day from allies. I invested in continuous learning because I believe in the Kaizen philosophy of life. And I built a true, strong professional network that supported my journey. And sadly, so, I was supported more by male counterparts than women. Unfortunately, women really don't support other women, but I've had many enablers who have been men. And over time, I've been able to shape perceptions, not only for myself, or other women aspiring to break these barriers. So I'm truly committed to fostering inclusive leadership and empowering others to challenge these stereotypes, proving that talent, resilience, and vision are what define a leader, not their past profession or their gender.
It's very beautiful and motivating the way you described your entire journey. I'm sure it's pretty long the way we know each other. But how you summarized it, it's so motivating, Dr. D, especially for the women who are entering into the entrepreneurship field. And
Thank you.
they actually feel that that they're not heard.
I
So
truly hope that, these answers can make them feel that they are not alone and they can imbibe some strength and be on their course. You have to be consistent in what you're doing. You have to believe in yourself. And in one of the previous episodes, I've also spoken about, my dictum that I believe in, which is achievers are first believers. So I truly hope, Sonali, that I can touch some lives through this podcast.
I am confident that you will, Dr. D, and thank you so much for bringing that on the table. The next question I would like to ask you is one word to describe your personal brand.
Hmm. I think empowering. Empowering would be one word that describes my personal brand. And because I truly feel happy and I truly feel successful when I enable others, whether it's through storytelling, leadership, or breaking barriers. I believe in using my journey to help others find their voice, embrace their strengths, creating that impact, becoming better public speakers, using communication as a tool to win. And and I often say this, true success isn't just about personal achievements, it's about lifting others. So, empowering would be that one word synonymous to my personality.
I guessed it. I guess that so because considering the conversations we've had in the all the previous episodes as well, I guess it would be empowering. And I love how you put it up so easily for all of us.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome, Dr. D. And the last question I have for you is, which I'm very excited to ask, is if your brand were a song, what would it be?
Hmm. Well, if my personal brand could be defined in a song, I think I'm going to pick a song which is relatable to Gen Z rather than going retro or old school. Um, it would be Unstoppable by Sia. And I'm sure you all remember the words: I'm unstoppable, I'm a Porsche with no brakes, I'm invincible. Yeah, I win every single game. I don't need batteries to play. I'm so confident. Yeah, I'm unstoppable today. The lyrics speak to the mindset of pushing forward despite challenges, owning your strength, and standing tall in the face of adversity. I think my life journey, my professional journey exemplifies this. That's exactly what I strive for: empowering others to embrace their power, lead with purpose, redefine definitions, and whatever is possible. So be unstoppable.
That is my go to song.
Okay, cool. I'm glad it relates.
Thank you so much, Dr. D. It was such a fantastic conversation.
Thank
So,
you
what
so much,
stood
Sonali.
out? You're
Yes,
most
yes.
welcome. It's always a pleasure to ask you certain questions which help us bring the best.
it's
And
it's
I,
uh, delightful, when you reached out to me and said that instead of me interviewing others, you want to interview me. And I said, wow, if the Gen Z and the youngsters want to really know about my journey, I'm happy to share.
it's an honor, Dr. D, to interview you.
Super. So I'll see you next time.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, bye.
Bye, Dr. D. See you. To our listeners, branding isn't just what you create, it's what you stand for. Don't forget to subscribe to The DE Show for more inspiring conversations. Thanks a ton to everyone listening and subscribing to The DE Show. Until then, keep believing, keep creating, and keep building.